Okay, hey guys, this is Ringo from 7 Education again. So today I'm going to talk about trigonometry. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some of those basic stuff first, just as a reminder. Okay, so for trigonometry, when we hear trigonometry, it's always those, sine theta, cos theta, and tangent theta. And how do we remember these? We always have to draw this little Pythagoras triangle, remember? And then we have, people call it hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite, whatever. I really hate those names. So usually what I do is this. Let's call this y, let's call this x, let's call this k. Okay, so usually how I remember it is x over k, this is like a c, x over k equals cos theta. Okay, so tangent is like here, we have a t. So therefore y over x equals tangent theta. And last but not least, this is a bit of those awkward one. This is like a weird squiggly s, which is this y over k is sine theta. Alright, so how does this all come into play? Well, you kind of have to know. This is the basic part. But the not so basic part, we can simply just look at here. Well, we can see that in our trigonometry identity, we have tangent theta equals sine theta over cos theta. That's one thing. And we also need to know some of these double angle and theorem. So cos squared plus sine squared equals 1. Sine 2 theta, this is where we call the sine double angle formula. We get 2 sine theta cos theta. And the cos 2 theta, it becomes cos square theta minus sine square theta. Or you can write it as 2 cos square theta minus 1 or 1 minus 2 sine square theta. Doesn't matter. You don't have to memorize it. You just need to know where to find it. So you can find it in your formula booklet. Okay, so back to a question. Let's see how we do this. Okay, this question is from the November 2012 paper 1, and let's look at this. Okay, it says sine 100 equals m, and we have to find the expression for each of the following terms in terms of m. Looks hard, but it actually isn't. But it's tricky. Okay, so how do we do that? So let's just say let 100 degrees equals theta first. Makes life a bit easier. So how does this work? So let's call it sine theta equals m. And remember, I drew that triangle earlier on. Sine theta is what? Okay, if we look back at this, sine theta is y over k. Okay, so what m over what is m is what we're trying to think about. If this is m over 1, m divided by 1 is just m. So we know that sine theta is actually m over 1. Okay, here's the fun part. What is this line here? Okay, remember this little Pythagoras thing you've learned about, where you get a squared plus b squared square root equals c squared? We can apply the same idea here. How do we apply the same idea? Well, simple. Yeah, so it's just, let's call it the question mark square plus m square equals 1 square. Take the square root of both. Okay, let's rearrange it. Okay, so we have I hate doing that. Okay, we have question mark square plus m square equals 1. Question mark square equals 1 minus m square. Question mark equals root 1 minus m. Okay, so from now we know that this question mark is root 1 minus m square. Oops, I left a square here. Alright, So we know that. Okay, let's continue. So I'm just going to move this here aside so it doesn't get in my way. Okay. So, oops. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so what's next? We're trying to find cosine 100, okay? So cosine 100, we have this cos 100. We can write this as cos theta. And we know cos theta is what? The c, right? So we know that it's root 1 over m squared over 1, which is simply just root 1 minus m squared. But we're actually not done yet, okay? We need to think of one thing. Remember this little CAST diagram? So in here, cosine is positive. In here, all of them are positive. Here, sine positive. Here, only tangent is positive. Okay, so we know sine 100. If this is 0, 90, 180, and 270, where would 100 lie? 100 would be somewhere around here. And in this quadrant here, only sine is positive. So what that means is that anything like cosine or tangent, they would both be negative. So our answer here is actually not complete yet. We have to add a negative to this for it to make sense, because cosine at this point is actually negative. So always keep that in mind. That is the one tricky part that IB love tricking you guys. Okay, so let's do tangent 100. Okay, so in part B we have tangent 100, which we can write as tangent theta, and we can again use that little similar logic. Remember that little t thing I talked to you about? So we can just simply write m over root 1 minus m squared. Again, ask yourself, tangent in the sine quadrant here is what? Is negative, right? So the answer is negative m root 1 minus m squared. That's your final answer. Okay, next part. It asks you for sine 200. Well, 200 is made of two 100, huh? So easily we can consider this as a double angle formula. So we can write sine 2 times 100, so it's actually just sine 2 theta. And remembering our formula, the double angle formula states that sine 2 theta equals 2 sine theta cos theta. Okay, so going back to this is this 2 sine theta cos theta. Technically, writing is actually 2 sine 100 times cos 100. And we know that sine 100 is what? M. Cos 100 is minus root 1 minus m squared. So multiply the 2 to it. And simply what you get is this 2m root 1 minus m squared. So basically it's just that simple. So just remember to use your formula booklet because it's your best friend. Also try to remember this diagram here and also the CAST diagram, so then you don't get tricked by IB. Alright, thank you for listening, and this is Ringo from 7 Education. Okay, bye.